Tim and Robbie are taking me into the wonderful world of VR, courtesy of Battlezone. Now, Battlezone might sound familiar to some of you old-timers out there who might be familiar with it. Is this the same traditional Battlezone game from way back when? Back in the day when people had to play with quarters?
At its heart, yes, it is. I mean, the original game came out in 1980. It was, I believe it was the first game to actually let you explore a 3D world in first person, the first virtual reality game, a lot of people call it. And this is our update, our reboot of it. We're taking what it felt like at its heart for us as players and bringing it bang up to date. So obviously it's still about battling tanks and in a virtual landscape. But now with the advent of actually real VR, with the helmets that we can use, with Sony VR and other platforms, it's mind-blowing, honestly. It's great.
It sounds like you're telling me is that we're sort of diving away from the world of everything's in some weird green grid, and no matter how far straight you go, you never get to the end of that world. Are you guys going to be actually taking me to a real, sort of maybe a virtual world?
Yeah, think of it as a kind of a second degree of separation where you're going to be playing a tank driver who himself or herself is going to be actually in their own virtual environment playing in a virtual war. I don't want to go too deep into the narrative and stuff now, and Tim will be working on that later on, but we'll be kind of revealing things as we get closer to the launch of PlayStation VR. But it's got a really nice sense of, sort of 80s, 90s sci-fi. Everyone compares the game to Tron, which is really lovely, but of course the original Battlezone was influenced, the original Tron film was influenced heavily by Battlezone, so it's kind of a nice cyclical kind of thing going on there.
It all comes full circle, full light cycle circle. So tell me about creating a new Battlezone. You mentioned the game came out in 1980. That was quite a long time ago, but what is it like getting to dive back into that world and update this game that, was one of the first VR games that we ever played?
Well, honestly, it's a real pleasure and an honor. I mean, I remember the game from when I was a kid, playing it in the arcades, and, to me and so many people I work with, it's literally legendary. It's one of those sort of cornerstones of computer gaming. So to be able to work on it and bring it up to date and hopefully do it justice is, I don't know, yeah, it feels like quite a responsibility, but we're having a blast doing it.
Our lead designer Steve is a massive fan of the original Battlezone, and he's feeling the pressure just to honour the original designers. Is it Ed Rodberg? Is that his name? He's really feeling the pressure himself personally, as he's kind of taking on that legacy. But the cool thing for someone like me, who unlike Tim can't remember the original game, it's effectively going to be a really new IP for people. For teenagers and maybe even slightly younger who are going to be getting to VR for the first time, and this is the thing that's going to influence them down the line, whereas the original Battlezone is what influenced our owners, Chris and Jason, into becoming video games developers. So that's kind of the exciting thing, I think, for the studio as a whole.
And so can you dive into a little bit about how much the gameplay is going to be changed now that VR itself has taken a jump into the future?
Well, one of the key things that VR gives you is the sense of immersion and the ability to just look around anywhere within your cockpit, out of the windows to the side, just really intuitively. Things that otherwise you might be trying to control a camera to do traditionally in games. You're no longer looking at a screen. It's like you're there, you're experiencing it. If a tank drives past you, you whip your head around and look at it. If bullets fly past you, they do that. If you want to look at the radar or some instrumentation in the cockpit, you just look down, you glance down. It's all there for you. It's really hard to describe until you really experience it, but it's a whole new level of experience.
But when talking about something like Battlezone, that a lot of people will remember. As somebody who doesn't even remember the original game, what is it like for you to explain to people that you are creating or helping in hand with creating a new Battlezone game?
The first thing really I push on them is it's more about the VR side of things. We're going to be a launch title on PlayStation VR, and we think that because you're controlling via a gamepad, a lot of gamers are going to be like, oh, I'm grounded in this. I know this is the kind of gameplay I understand, like twin stick shooting, first person sort of strafing, that kind of thing. So we want to be that first title that says, yeah, it doesn't have to be a bunch of small tech demos and weird experiences. This is a full game, just like the original Battlezone was. Obviously their technology limited how big that game could be, but our campaign's going to be really nice and substantial. And for me, as someone who plays a lot of first person shooters, it's really exciting to see a fast paced arcade-like experience in VR, and we hope that we're going to be doing something a little bit different to a lot of other games out there.
Now, the original Battlezone game was, in fact, an Atari game. How did you guys acquire the rights to be able to work and create a brand new Battlezone game?
Well, we heard a little while back that Atari were auctioning off some of their old IP, And when we saw that like Battlezone was available, Jason and Chris, the owners of Rebellion, they talked to us and they were saying, oh well, these things are on the table, kind of thing, and we were like, well, could you really get hold of Battlezone? And you know, we didn't really seriously think it was possible, but they came back from the auction with Battlezone. And so Rebellion now owns the IP, and which is obviously hugely exciting for us, and it's hugely exciting to be able to actually like bring it to life again and give it new life.
We actually own the rights to the '98 Battlezone as well, the one on PC, and it's not a VR title, but we're also remastering that for PC as well. So it's quite funny. We've got 2 Battlezone titles up in the air for very different audiences, but it's really exciting to see like how passionate both sets of fans are for very different games.
Are you guys planning on having some kind of button that I can like switch and then turn into Brad Pitt and Fury?
I'll let you answer this one, Robbie. I answered.
Can't confirm that.
It would have been awesome, but unfortunately, you probably won't be able to play as Brad Pitt, but you will be able to play a brand new Battlezone PlayStation VR. It's going to be right here, or is it going to be here?
Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.